Hi, my name's Alistair Phillips and I'm a woodturner. I specialise in producing bowls and plates designed for everyday use in the home. All of my work is made with UK grown hardwood and a mixture of air dried and kiln dried timber. The kiln dried wood in particular I source as waste offcuts from a local commercial sawmill, and by using somebody else's waste I feel my work can be better for the environment than it would otherwise be using virgin timber. Kiln dried wood is also much more stable when used in the home. So let's head inside and get cracking with the rest of this video. In this video, we're going to take a closer look at my process of making an item of functional tableware. There are many different solutions available to woodturners, and my solution might not suit your process. And on that note, a final word of caution that woodturning is an inherently dangerous activity, and anyone wishing to take it up as a hobby should always be careful to work within the confines of their own comfort zone and abilities. All my bowls start with a seasoned plank of wood. I mainly work with a mix of oak, ash and sycamore. Working with a range of templates, I firstly lay out and mark the shape of each bowl on the piece of wood. Having scribed a disc onto the wood, I can then very easily cut to shape using my bandsaw. I generally produce my blanks in bulk, making around 100 at a time. The last stage of blank preparation is drilling a recess with a 2 1/8 inch Forstner bit, after which the blank can be directly mounted onto my lathe chuck. I use this method as it is fast and efficient, essential for maintaining a smooth workflow. So this dusty chunk of metal on the front of my lathe is a Supernova wood turning chuck, mounted with the standard jaws. I'll just slide the tool rest out of the way now so that we can see more clearly what I'm talking about. The jaws expand against the sides of the recess, after which the blank is securely attached to the lathe. The lathe itself is a Weavermac DB1200 with a variable electronic speed control and a rotating headstock. I prefer to work with the headstock slightly canted away from the main body of the lathe, as I find this position is more comfortable to my body. My lathe doesn't come with a speed readout as such, and so I can't make recommendations in each and every case as to the optimal speed. I prefer to run the lathe as fast as I can without everything vibrating and wobbling about. No wood turning video would be complete without some tools, and to make my process as smooth flowing as possible, I prefer to have the minimum number. The main tool that I use for the bulk of my shaping is a gouge. This gouge is made by Hamlet. It's got a 1/2 inch flute and it's ground with a fingernail grind on the end. I only use the one and I can shape every part of my bowl with this chisel. The only extra tool I need for the bulk of the time is a little narrow skew chisel, which I use to shape the sharp corner on the inside of the recess on the base of the bowl, against which the jaws of the chuck will expand. The last tool that I use, which gets the least amount of action, is this heavy-duty scraper made by Robert Sorby. It's great for dealing with the transition between the side of the bowl and the base, and for cleaning up any tear out. The kiln-dried wood that I almost always use is very dusty, so I always make sure to wear a dust mask. This is a 3M branded mask and it has FP3 filters, and a face shield is essential. Much better than glasses, deflects everything away from your eyes. So that's all the kit together. I'll get suited up and we'll start turning. As the blank comes up to speed, I check that the lathe is not vibrating. Marking the diameter of the base helps make sure the bowls will stack when they are all finished. Then we quickly take off the waste from the outside corners. I stand side onto the bowl so that shavings are directed away from my body. In my finishing cut, I aim to make a single pass from the base to the rim, but this is not always successful. The base is made slightly concave before I mark and shape the recess in the base that will accept the chuck. The ideal depth of the recess varies for different species, so aim for at least 1/4 of an inch depth to begin with. For safety, make sure to always pull the tool rest away from the work before sanding. I use Hermes RB406 J-Flex abrasive, which is tough, flexible and long lasting. One 4-inch square sheet will easily sand 4 to 6 bowls. The first pass is with a 120 grit paper and the second with 220 grit. We then finish the bowl with one coat of grapeseed oil that is burnished with shavings. The oil isn't there to protect the wood as such, but to give each piece a wet look so it does not dramatically change colour the first time it is used. Like the wooden spoons, spatulas and cutting boards that many of us already use, wooden bowls do not require special care and attention in daily use. You can check out my How to Clean a Wooden Bowl video if you want to know more. On to the inside now, and here my technique differs slightly from the advice of many wood turning videos. I prefer to hollow out each piece, working from the rim towards the middle, which keeps the piece better balanced and less prone to vibration as I work. The fingernail grind means this one gouge is capable of both quick and heavy clearing cuts and also delicate finishing. As the bowl becomes thinner and more flexible, I use my fingers to support the rim, which helps to improve the finish of the tools. The fingers also serve as a handy gauge to check for even wall thickness. Like on the outside of the bowl, it's always nice to be able to make one finishing cut from rim to base. Once sanded and oiled on the inside, this bowl is now ready to use. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. If it's inspired you to find a wooden bowl of your own to eat from, then please visit my stockist, Objects of Use. You can also find more details about my work on my website at the link below.